Mr. Fix-It is here to take on your DIY dilemmas. Text or WhatsApp to 083 3010 103.
Brian Cloonan is on the premises. Good morning, Brian.
Top of the morning to you, David.
Thanks for joining us.
That's all great to see you across the desk, and let's just hope that Mr. Faulkner's court case goes well today. I heard he's in court today.
Yeah, I think it's one of those we can't report on it until we get clear sight on convictions, sentences.
Well, I either heard he's in court or in a course, so I'm not sure which. I think it was court, though.
That sounds more fitting.
Yes, yeah. That's what I wanted to hear, anyway.
Brian would like you to get in touch this morning on 083 3010 103 if you have any questions concerning DIY. We were just talking about maybe summer plans. You're a man who can't seem to stop. You were saying yes, even if you go away, you might be doing some odd jobs there as well.
Yes, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
I was just thinking as you were saying that that'll stand to you when you get old. Do you know?
When I get old. Thanks for that.
When you're
Thanks
old,
for that.
Brian.
Yes, when I'm old. Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
You're spry.
Mr. Faulkner wouldn't have given me when I get old. He would say now that you're old.
Well, this is the difference. No, but when you get, don't they say you should never stop when you get old? You know?
Just keep going. I see it in the shop all the time. Yeah. All the time. I remember a lady in one day, and she's buying a Bushman blade. So Bushman is the old-fashioned saw that you'd use. It's a kind of a U-shaped saw, and you'd use it for cutting timber by hand.
Wow, okay.
But it's rough timber, so it's logs you're cutting with it. It's not like a hand saw that a carpenter would use. And she's buying a blade. How much is a blade? And I said, £5. And she said, give me 2. The last one didn't last me that long.
Right.
And I said, sorry now, when you say it didn't last you that long, who's using it? And she kind of bristled a little bit and said, I am.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I said, you know why? You know what the next question is going to be? And she said, 84. Wow. And I said,
amazing.
Sorry now, what are you doing cutting logs at 84? And she said, well, in the winter, when it gets cold, there's 2 things that'll get you warm.
Yeah.
Hoovering.
Yes, so true.
Or cutting logs, cutting the timber out in the shed. And she said, there's only so much feckin' hoovering you can do. That's exactly what she said. And she said, my sons have chainsaws, they give out stink to me. But she said, you go out, all I do is I go out and spend 20 minutes cutting timber and I'm warm for hours. Isn't that just fantastic?
Here's hoping when we're 84 we have that perspective.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
By the way, do you wear the outfit you're wearing? I notice it has your nickname embroidered onto the top.
Brian, that's a ridiculous thing to say.
He's a top that has where you would wear a name tag. It says Weird Fish.
Weird Fish. That's
so
right.
Is that your you know that's your nickname here? We all say he's a weird fish.
That's like when people say, I don't care what they say about you, you're all right.
Yeah, correct.
Weird fish.
I have a common one I say in the shop. I'd say I don't know why everyone gives out about you. I've never had a problem with you.
Yeah, right. Weird Fish. Thanks for that. It's an outdoor, it's camping wear.
Camping wear.
Indeed.
And do you camp?
I like to camp.
Do you? Great. That's good.
Get it done once every 2 years, maybe.
That's great. That's enough.
Okay. Will we answer some people's questions?
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah,
you are in for an actual reason.
Yes.
Okay. I got a new galvanised set of gates in January, painted them 2 months ago, but they're flaking already. What have I done wrong?
So just didn't prep. Galvanised is very difficult. So if you want to paint galvanised, you either do 2 things. You either wait for it. If you leave, so at the moment, new galvanised is really shiny and silvery looking.
What's a galvanised gate?
Sorry, galvanised is a silver gate. So when you buy a new gate, if you got a gate made and it was made in steel, it would start to rust straight away. So you send it, or the guys who make it send it off to be galvanised, or you buy them in pre-galvanised if it's a pre-made gate. And the galvanised just is a fantastic rust protector. And the idea would be you make the gate and then you dip it in galvanised, and that's like that puts a silver coating on it that's really anti-rust, really tough. It's brilliant.
It's hard to paint.
But if you want to paint it, you either have to wait for it to weather, which could be the best part of a year, so it loses that high shiny silver and goes a kind of a dull grey. Okay. Or else, if you want to paint it, you'll have to use a primer. And you'll also have to wash it down with methylated spirits or alcohol of some sort, because it comes with a kind of a greasy coating on it. And of course, paint doesn't like grease. So you wash it down first, and then you have to use a primer. And if you're going to use an oil-based paint, use an oil-based primer. And if you're going to use a water-based paint, use a water-based primer. Or you can use a couple of the universal paints, like the Sadlin Super Deck, don't require a primer, but they do require the washing. No matter what paint you use, you have to use washing. You have to use meths, not white spirits, methylated spirits, to break down that grease. Now, you won't need that much, but what I always suggest is get one of the little nylon scouring pads, the green pad or the white pad with a sponge on it. Pour the meths onto that. Now, it evaporates away really quickly. So you wash, you rub the gate, and then you immediately wipe it down with a rag, a cotton rag, to clean it off, and do the entire gate with that. And then you're ready to paint, be it with the primer or the Super Deck, one or the other.
Okay, good stuff. Liam in Portlaoise, is there anything I can do about cats coming into my garden, driving my terrier Belubas, which means he's barking inside the house continually? I figured Belubas meant he was barking inside the house continually. How do you stop cats from coming into your garden? That's a $1 million question, surely.
Do you remember where Belubas came from?
No. I never even thought to think about where it could have come from.
So, back in the day, when what do you call that film that was made about the Irish Army in the Congo?
Jadaville.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were surrounded by the Beluba tribe.
Stop.
Who used to go Belubas. So that's where it came from. So if you were a little bit seemly, they used to chew cat, whatever that drug, that KATT. It's a drug, a leaf you chew. It's coca leaf.
Okay, that's better than chewing cats.
Yes, definitely. And they would go crazy. So if they were attacking you, before they would attack you, they would chew this and it would drive them Belubas. Sorry, nuts. But going Belubas then came home from the Irish Army as describing somebody who was gone crazy.
As young people say, I am today years old when I found out what that means. That is absolutely
So what
fantastic.
to do with the dog, or the cat really, the cats? It's hard. There's a couple of things you could do. You can get... depends on the size of the garden. So you can get a little thing that gives out a sound that cats don't like.
Okay.
But if the cat, obviously if there's loads of shrubbery and whatever, it doesn't affect them to the same extent because it doesn't pick them up as they hide behind this.
There's an absorption that happens.
Yes, exactly. And then the other thing you can get is a little lawn sprinkler that has a sensor on it. So what happens is if any animal walks past, the sprinkler comes on, and of course cats hate getting wet. They hate the unexpected wetness of this sprinkler coming on, and it's like exactly like a lawn sprinkler. It swivels around, but it only turns on when something walks past.
And it has the added benefit
of watering the grass.
I was going to say it's also hilarious. It's
relatively
humane.
It is. It's totally humane. It's only water. Like, you're not going to do any damage to the cat.
There's nothing funnier.
You could sit and watch it all day. Couldn't you? Absolutely. So there are. If a listener has a problem with cats digging in flower pots or digging in flower beds, well, then you can use the garlic granules that slow release over a period of time, and the cats really don't like digging in that, but that doesn't keep them out of the garden. So sometimes people will say they'll see this packet and deters cats, and it does deter cats from digging in that area, but it won't keep them out of the garden. It
just modifies their behaviour while they're in the garden.
They just go somewhere else.
A mate of mine has cats, and they had a tendency of getting run over and killed every time they left the house. So they when they got the next bunch of cats, because they're a cat house, they're always going to have cats, they wanted to create fortifications to keep the cat within the back garden.
Good luck with that.
Oh my God, was it the funniest thing ever. I was getting text updates of this new cat Alcatraz that was being built. There was chicken wire being used. There was plastic pipes on rollers to try stop them from scaling the walls.
Stop.
He's drilled plastic perspex onto the wooden garden walls as well. But they are just so incredible.
They're ninjas.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's not just one of them, it's as a species.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're absolutely amazing.
They can't be stopped.
Yeah.
Okay, just on the galvanised gates one, guys, galvanised gates have an element of zinc in them, or zinc, so they'll not accept paint, but if you really have to leave it to weather for a while, then you should be okay. That comes from Joe.
Yep.
Echoing what you said, essentially.
Yeah. Well, no, the prime, you can scrub down. He's right in that you either wait for them to weather or else you have to use a primer that is zinc resistant.
Okay.
Which is, there's 2 or 3 of them out there, but you have to wash down first.
Okay, 083 3010 103. Brian Cloonan from Cloonan's Hardware on William Street in Tullamore is here to answer your questions. The time right now is 32 minutes past 10.
Mr. Fixes with Brian Cloonan. Call 0818 300 103 and put our toolman to the test.
Put our toolman to the test. Our toolman is Brian Cloonan. He's joined us to answer your DIY questions. Morning, guys. Just wondering, what's the best type of lock to put at the gate at the side of my house? We've no gates at the front, and while we have a gate at the side, it's not lockable. We had a very expensive set of garden furniture taken last weekend.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't want to just put a padlock on it because I want to be able to open the gate from both sides, from Alice in Mullingar. What can she do?
Actually, you know what? The handiest thing of the whole lot, there's a thing called a gate lock. It does exactly what it says. The great thing, see, the problem with using most locks on a gate, so let's say you get, sometimes people will get an ordinary, no, very good quality, like a 5-lever sash lock or deadlock, which was what you'd have on your front door years ago and what most shops would have. High security. You cannot pick the lock, break the lock. It's very secure, it's very strong. But the problem is the little tongue or bolt that comes out from that. So you turn the key and out comes the tongue, the bolt.
Yeah.
It only comes out about 20 mil at most, sometimes 22 mil. And a gate is rarely finished that closely. It's not engineered. It's
not
the
as
way
flush
a door
as a door is.
Exactly. Yeah. So the problem is, and particularly if it's double gate, a little bit of play, you can just pop it open. You can just push the gate and it will open. So the gate, what's the best known brand? Kays, Cays. There are various brands, but Kays would be the best known brand. And that's the thing that is surface mounts to the inside of the gate, and there's a little barrel goes through. But the great thing is the bar, the bolt that I was talking about, that would only throw out 20 mil on most locks, throws out 60 mil, 50 mil or 60 mil. And it's a big, strong, square bar. So it goes right across to the other gate. So it leaves it very, very secure. And it operates with a key from both sides, if you want, which is what I'd always suggest for a gate. They're also sometimes used in sheds. And if you're using it in a shed, you have a little, instead of the key on the inside, you have a little slide button that allows you to open and close it. But always with a gate, you'd suggest don't put the slide button on it, because then if someone climbs the gate, they can then climb the gate and still open it. But now what's going to happen is with the key both sides, the only way you can open those gates is if you have the key.
Okay. Simple
as. And it's a Kays lock or a gate lock. You look it up and you'll see, you'll get them no problem.
Alice, hope that sorts you out. From James in Durrow, he's had a guy with a digger finally come around to prepare the ground around a new build house. So the soil's now perfect for sowing the lawn. He's wondering what's the best time to sow lawn seed. Should he be putting fertiliser on at the same time?
No, don't put on fertiliser at the same time. You can put on an organic fertiliser before you sow, but really the weather conditions now are absolutely perfect for sowing that. So you need the ground to be wet and you need wet weather. So I'd get it on today as soon as you possibly can. If you sow in dry weather, it really is just bird seed until it germinates, and it needs plenty of rain. And these temperatures, so really what you want for lawn seed, you want wet, warm weather. That's the perfect conditions. So if you sow it now, it is the best time to do it. I was just going to say, now, the only thing I will say, if you had the guy with the digger in, if you rotivated yesterday, you'd need to leave it for about a week for the soil to settle, because the problem is going to be all that soil is going to settle and it'll be a bit lumpy and humpy. And once you sow the lawn seed, you can't level it afterwards. So you have to level it beforehand, and really you need to let it settle for a week. So see, depending on when the digger man was last there, do it this weekend. If it's about 2 weeks, it'll have settled. If it's only yesterday or the day before, it won't have settled yet. Don't sow yet. But now they say April. The two best times to sow are April or September. Now, to be honest with you, this is April weather. We've had April weather, so you can certainly this would be the weekend to sow, or certainly this is the time to sow.
Okay, good stuff. a large cobble lock driveway at the front of the house, and in between nearly all of the blocks there's a weed growing for some time now. I'm told it's liverwort and it's almost impossible to kill. I've tried Roundup without success. Josie in Abbey Leaks is wondering if you have any other recommendations.
An obnoxious, annoying weed. Who does that remind me of? Oh, yeah, sorry, he's in court today. When he's not here to defend himself, it is the time to get a few digs in.
I know. And I'm sure he'd like me to hold you to account, but
you
I'm
have
not going
no
to do
intention
that.
of it, I know right well. Yeah, liverwort is really a horrible little weed. So if you don't know what it looks a little bit like a shamrock. It's down real close to the ground.
Yeah. Normal
weed killers have no effect on it. So what does affect it and does wipe it out are the biocides. So that's the ActiWash, the Drive Clear, the Moscow, any of those things that kill algae or moss. That will wipe it out, no problem. Just makes it a little bit stronger. So context with one of the ones we would sell would be an 8-to-1 mix for algae. So algae on walls, you mix it 8-to-1. For moss on your roof or your tarmac or your drive, you mix it 5-to-1.
Okay.
But for liverwort, you mix it 4-to-1. You just go that little bit stronger. So whether it's the ActiWash, the Drive Clear, you mix that little bit stronger than the moss mixture. And that will completely wipe it out. And most of them are organic, most of them have no effect on other plants, but moss, algae, lichen, all those kind of flat to the ground or on the wall, and the longer you leave them working, the better. Even the lichen, the hardest one to kill is the white lichen that you'll see on people's roofs, or you'll sometimes see it on cobble lock, funny enough, as well. And the whole secret there is just put it on, and everyone wants to power wash it off straight away.
How long do you leave it?
6 months.
6 months?
Well, I'm exaggerating.
Right.
But leave it. When you see you don't need to do anything, you just put it on, and, over the foot, it will die. Over the space of the next month, it will die completely, and then heavy rain will take it off. And if there's any left, if there's any, like the lichen, the cobble lock the liverwort will just die away and disappear.
Right.
The moss will die away and blow away and disappear and get washed off. The algae will be dead overnight. You spray algae on a wall today, it's gone tomorrow. You don't even need to power wash it. But the white lichen, which is a very hard one to get rid of, that takes about a month before it breaks down completely. And then you go out with just a stiff brush or the gentlest of power washing. But I would say avoid the power washing if you can, because it will continue to work for months and months afterwards, which means it's killing and preventing the whole time.
Does it leave residue? Does it change how the
change
driveway will look or anything like that?
Doesn't affect how the driveway looks at all.
Does it make it more dangerous to lick the ground?
You would want to lick every square inch of the ground. No, even it's diluted.
Okay. Lick away.
It's not something you should do in general, to be quite frank now.
Well,
and
someone could have told you that.
I'd suggest you give it up.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. You come in with the best advice. Ger in Portlaoise. Guys, I've got paving slabs like cobble lock at the back of my house, and every year I'm fighting weeds and dirt in the same in between each one. Even when I clean in between the gaps, they look terrible. Is there anything I can do to fill the gaps? Okay, so this is approaching a similar problem with a different perspective in mind. Looks like he fancies giving up on the gaps completely.
No, I suppose, look, if you can, put on a preventative weed killer and then either resand it. So the problem with cobble lock, if you power wash it, so it's back to this again, never power wash it. Because if you power wash it, you take out all the sand. And then you have to redo it. Now, if you want tougher than sand, you can buy tubs, and there's loads of different brands, and all the builders providers will have them in hardware shops and often garden centres. It's a bucket of patio filler, grout filler, joint filler, whatever you want to call it, and comes in different colours. So if you had Clonaslee stone patio, you'd get a sandy coloured, a beigey coloured bucket of this, and if it's patio slabs or cobble lock, you'd go for the grey.
Yeah.
And
colour, yellow bricks, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it goes into it's very handy in that it's a vacuum patch bag. It's bone dry and very fine. So you just put it on and brush it into place, and then the air gets at it and it sets.
Okay.
So it's a very clean way of trying to do it, but it also sets like cement. So it's not sand, which is very soft. So therefore it does help to keep weeds away. It's less absorbent than sand, so it does help to keep algae and moss from growing. And you can power wash, but you shouldn't. Really what I'd say to you is use one of the organic, we mentioned them earlier, the ActiWash, the Drive Clear, whatever you're using, use those and don't wash it off. And it'll stay clean and you won't need to power wash, because every time you power wash concrete, you abrade it. You make the surface rougher, and therefore you're going to get, it makes it a more conducive spot for algae or moss to grow in the future. Whereas if you leave on the biocides, they actually remain active for months afterwards, and they really do. I spoke to someone this morning who was he was cleaning his house. He used, I don't know which one he used, but he used one of them, and he ran out, and he'd half his gable end. Now he said nobody sees the gable end except me, so I never bothered to go back to do it. But he said 2 years later, half the gable end is perfectly clean, and the other half is covered in green.
Oh, that's gas.
So it does continue to work for a long time afterwards.
Okay, good stuff. In your time that you spend on YouTube every night,
YouTube,
have you come across any conspiracy theories against power washing or something? You seem to be dead set against it.
No, I haven't actually.
Okay.
No, everyone loves putting up their videos of power washing, because it's the before and after. In fairness, it's a very satisfying
thing to do. There was a man's
do.
power washing our neighbour there all over the course of yesterday, but you're saying don't do it.
Well, don't do it unnecessarily.
Yeah, okay.
And the problem is if you do use the biocide, by power washing afterwards, you're removing it. That's all.
That's the main thing. Okay, great stuff. We've got one more break to take. If you want to get your questions in, you have one final chance. 083 30 10 103.
Mr. Fix-It is here to take on your DIY dilemmas. Text or WhatsApp to 083 30 10 103.
Brian Cloonan answering your DIY questions. Matt in Port Arlington, thank you for getting in touch. How does he best clean the bins in his air fryer? Matt, this is personally one of my least favourite jobs in the kitchen.
Really?
Yes. They're unwieldy, and the water spills everywhere.
I know HG do an air fryer, a specific air fryer cleaner.
Oh, right, okay.
I honestly, I have to look it up and see what makes it different. What makes it different, and how it works. I always find just soak it for a few minutes. The big thing is soak it in hot water.
Wash it every time after you use it. I think is probably the first port of call here. So if Matt isn't doing that,
yeah, you have to wash it. Well, even from a hygiene point of view, you don't want food sitting in it for 2 days and then congealing and developing bacteria.
Could it not add flavour? Like it reactivates all the fats in there.
See how it's getting 180 degrees, isn't it? Yeah. But is that enough to kill all the germs in it? I don't know. I'd have to clean it. You see, I think it's no problem to clean it once you clean it every time. Now, the jury's out. I see one of my sons uses tinfoil.
To cover it, yeah.
So he puts tinfoil in first and then sits the meat in on top of that. But surely the air fryer the air isn't moving around inside then, or surely?
The virtue of an air fryer is that the air gets around to all the different parts of the food equally.
Yes.
And therefore, apparently, arguably makes it tastier, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and much like your son in that respect, I conceded defeat. I used the rubber inserts and
the silicone inserts.
Yes.
Right, well.
Much easier to clean. And then you just have to go in and turn food while you're doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Once?
Yeah, well, like let's take the classic sausage situation.
Classic sausage situation.
Don't say it quickly.
There's a sentence I never heard, never expected to hear.
It is a classic sausage situation. And in that instance, the base of the sausages will not cook unless you're turning them.
Okay.
So
that is a classic sausage situation.
It is. Matt, I hope that helps. Okay, let's hear from Kevin in Athlone. Bought a mighty barbecue last year, used it all summer, but then the weather changed. He pushed it into the shed and forgot about it. He knows that he should have cleaned it well before it's too late for that now. What's the best way to deep clean a barbecue? He's talking about the grill and everything. Now, there's a job that's not going to be fun.
So first thing you always do with a barbecue is fire it up, be it gas or charcoal. Just fire it up. If it has a lid, close down the lid and just let it get really hot. And so the temperatures there will be, could be 250 degrees. So everything will be incinerated. Everything will now be hygienically clean insofar as there'll be all mould, all germs, all bacteria will be killed. And then you can give it a good clean. If it's cast iron, I would say hot soapy water, and then immediately dry it and rub it the entire thing with cooking oil. If the grids are cast iron, otherwise just use an oven cleaner on everything else. That if it's hard, so use a degreaser on the hood, on all the parts that just might have soft grease. Just use a degreaser. Otherwise, as I say, an oven cleaner you can buy a barbecue cleaner. It's an oven cleaner. That's all it is. A spray oven cleaner. Spray it on. Give it a scrub. Wash it off. But it's all going to be hygienically clean. So it's really the cooking grids of what you need to worry about. You want to get those as clean as you can, and then just going forward, clean them after every use with a wire brush and oil them. That's all you have to do. Once the temperature gets up, it's all clean. Nothing survives, 250 degrees temperature, which is what a gas barbecue will get to very, very quickly, and you'll be fine.
Nothing survives 200 degrees temperature. Maybe Will Faulkner does. And that might tell you something.
Yeah, and he is toxic.
Okay. Time for one more. Ashling and Kilbeggan. Blocked gutters which were leaking water down onto the Velux window. Now there's a limey frosting on the window. That's an obscure but unfortunate scenario. So Ashling's wondering, what's the best way to get it misted like scale off the glass?
So this is exactly the same as a shower door. So if you have glass in a shower door, you will very often get a build-up of lime on the glass in the shower door. And the reason is that the water hits the shower door and then evaporates away, and it leaves the lime behind. Same way as if, how do you get salt in the salt flats? They take the salt water, they evaporate away the water, and they leave all the salt behind. This is doing the very same thing. It's leaving all the lime behind. So you just get your limescale descaler that's designed. So limescale, concentrate descaler, brush it on, give it 15-20 minutes, wash it off. Really important to wash it off. Every limescale descaler is an acid of some sort. Now, usually a very mild acid like phosphoric acid, but if you don't wash it off, it will etch the surface. So even the glass, which is obviously as tough as nails, it will eventually eat its way into the glass and leave a haze behind that looks exactly like limescale. But the limescale is removable. The haze, the etching is not removable. So just put it on. In this case, 10 minutes max will be enough. Give it an agitation, so a nylon pad, and then just hose it off completely and wash it off and dry it. But in the shower, what you do is you use your window squeegee that you'd wash windows with, the rubber squeegee for washing windows. Keep it in the shower. When you finish your shower, just rub it down the thing, or else just use a towel to dry it off. If the water doesn't hit it if the water doesn't evaporate off it, if you leave it dry, it will be absolutely fine.
Brian Cloonan, thank you for your service.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, David. Sorry.
You're not forgiven. The news is coming up at 11 o'clock.